So after our failed attempt at making it down the coast, I had to fix the autopilot. So the autopilot was not working. So to fix it, two options. One, the wheel pilot itself. It's a wheel pilot. It is the version or whatever, but the wheel pilot itself has little gears in it, has a belt in it. Those were wearing out, so the gears would strip and it would just keep turning, and then the autopilot would get off on its course, and you could reset the course, but the course would always be off from your compass. It only lasts about 30 seconds, then it would happen again. If you tighten up the belt, the gears would just strip more. So basically on just calm, flat waters, it could hold the wheel. If you could hold the wheel with your one finger, it would hold the course. If it got more than that, the gears would you just hear it go. I don't know if that's a good sound effect, but you could hear the gears strip and then it would just go off course. It just got worse really, really fast. So what are we doing? We are going to upgrade the entire autopilot instead of just fixing it, because just getting an all new one gives me a couple things. It's straight integration. I can make the other one integrate, but I haven't done so. That's the NEMA 183 or something like that to NEMA 2000. But the new one is all the same connectors. Having a new autopilot, I'll just feel a little bit better about it. And I was going to have to replace quite a few parts. And the new one has some more features. So we went with the new one. A lot more expensive, but you know what the heck. I couldn't go with the below decks autopilot. The below decks one would be a lot better, a lot more robust, could handle bigger waves. If we were under big seas, I could just go below decks and close up. That's what I really wanted to do, but I just don't have the money to do it. It's, $4,000 for the autopilot, a little over that, and then the work I was going to have to do the back of the boat to build in some shelves. And then on the side of the hull, I was going to have to reinforce the hull, and then build some arms onto the pedestal itself for the rudder post, or I'd have to integrate to the pedestal. Anyways, it was gonna $5,000 to $6,000 to end up doing it, and it's doing the work myself. So that's a lot of money versus I think I paid $1,500 for this new autopilot. They're about $1,800, and Defender Marine had a deal on them, so I picked one up. Let me show you what that is. Okay, so the new autopilot, this is the Evolution by Ray Marine, and I bought the whole autopilot system pack, so it comes with the brains to the unit. If I can show you down here, so this is kind of some of the things that comes with it. There's the new brain to the unit, takes into account the roll of the boat, the pitch of the boat, which the old one doesn't really do that. And then the GPS coordinates as well. It has a different display, and that comes with a new wheel pilot piece and all new wiring hardware and all of that. The old one I had is the Smart Pilot X5. That's the one I'm going to be pulling out. So I've got a bit of work to do to get that started, and that includes pulling the piece off of the wheel assembly. I've got to pull the brain unit out, which I'm going to have to do a little bit more work just because I've got to pull out my charge controller and charging system because it's kind of in the way of that, and I got to find a new place to mount the sort of brains to the unit because it's right now currently kind of right next to the battery box, and I'd like to change that. Anyways, let's get started. Hey guys, what do we got? So this was the Autopilot, the old one, which is a Smart Pilot X5. Got all my booklets and everything for that, the little quick start guide, and some extra wires, which I have here in my little booklet. We're going to get rid of that. And what we are, so let's put that over there, and then, oh my goodness, here is the box. I'm gonna see if I can get stuff out of it. Let's see if I can get the other little boxes that come with it. So it comes with a bunch of stuff. One of them is this packet right here, which is super cool because it has all of the connectors. It actually has the bridge that holds, you know, all the connectors to it, so you can plug everything into that, the backbone. And then looks like plenty of wiring, and then another connector for you have 2 more connectors. It looks like, oh yeah, 2 more connectors. That's kind of great because that's everything you really need. Those things you have to go buy all the wiring to. So there's that. It comes with the P70 display. That's kind of cool, color display. That's going to look awesome. And it's got the buttons. So I've seen a lot of these Autopilots that have the wheel, where you turn the wheel to adjust it, which looks really cool in the store. But the nice thing about these is you really don't have to look at it that much. You go over there and you press the button. Like if you want to tack, you can press it like 9 times. I think it actually is a combination. You can press like 2 buttons. I got to read the instructions. That's the way one of my old boat used to work. You press 2 buttons and the boat would do a tack for you. So when you're single-handed, that helps out so much because you can adjust how quickly it does it. And once you kind of get used to that, you can go and do an auto tack, and then you just go adjust the lines and watch the sails and watch the wind. Basically, all you got to do is, now you're going to crew. As soon as you hit that and you go adjust everything, pull in the lines, you don't need a second person. That's super helpful. I probably could figure out a way. I could do it on my old one just by pressing it 9 times. I think this one has a combo you can do it with. Since this can connect to everything else on my boat, I can make the Autopilot follow the wind now if I want to, which is cool. Alright, that's the display. So this is the, what does it actually say? So this is the actuator control unit. So this is what everything plugs into. Great. Just a new one. This, which doesn't really show what it is the sort of the whole brains to the unit. You can see that. That's the brains to the unit. That's kind of the one thing that old Autopilot doesn't have. So this, from what I understand, totally correct me in the comments below if I don't know what I'm talking about. But from what I understand, it's like, so you mount this in a place to where it'll start understanding the pitch and roll of your boat as it's moving, and help the Autopilot adjust a little bit better, a little bit more accurately. That's super nice. You can kind of start anticipating what it's going to have to do to make corrections instead of just saying you're off course, which the one I have now, you go off course a little bit, it corrects it. One I had on my larger boat, as the waves started to move the boat, it would start to know to correct, and then it was amazing. It wasn't one of these wheel pilots. Wheel pilots are a lot cheaper. All right, and then the whole wheel pilot assembly is in this big old box here, and that's going to be a whole new wheel assembly, the motor, belts, gears, all that kind of stuff that actually turn the wheel. So I need to get that all installed. I'm reluctantly excited about this because I know this is going to take a lot more work just because of the things I have installed in the boat to put in the brains of the unit. I have to pull some things out of my boat right now. I'll have to pull all the old system out and install the new system, so it'll take a little bit longer than if I didn't have one on here in the first place, because I'm going to replace all the wiring too. Let's get started. Okay guys, after a bit of time, we have the new Autopilot installed, which I'm super excited about, and I'm going to be able to show you why the old Autopilot failed. First, let's just, oh my god, yeah, it's a mess again. I know. It's a total mess. I had to take this boat completely apart, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. All the cushions and everything back in here, all the bedding, everything's back in here. All the cushions are out of here, but hey, more importantly, the old Autopilot's out of here. This is the old brains part of the unit from the Ray Marine. This is the Smart Pilot, the X5. That's the one that was in there. There's that piece. I have another piece. Oh, here's another piece I put in the sink. So I'm going to take this apart so I can show you why this failed. And then here is the old compass piece. I'm going to show you where that was located as well. So that's taken out. I've replaced all of those. So just as a thing, they tell you put that piece, which was the compass piece, in that box right there. So you put that as close to the battery as possible, but they also tell you to keep it within 3 feet of it. Well, where they had installed that was right here, where you can see this. It's a little hard to see, but it was mounted to the wall right here, which is about 3 inches from the old batteries and 3 inches from the new batteries. That still seemed to work pretty well. I've located that about 3 feet away from the batteries, if you can see it here, right there, and that's the new one. And that new unit is level, and then I mounted it to this drawer assembly here, which I had to over here brace it so that it wouldn't vibrate or move. It would move a little bit back and forth, so I built a little brace and put that in there so that would be a little bit more secure. Ran new cables, and then in the nav station here, and this is going to be a bit of a rat's nest in here right now because I just finished installing. And we've got the brains to the unit right here. This is the new one. It goes back in here. And the thing that took a little bit of time was connecting Raymarines' proprietary little connectors to the Enemy 2000 connectors. So this cable right here and one up at the helm, of course, don't come with the kit, and probably should, because the Raymarine Autopilot, sorry, let's back up. The Raymarine nav unit, which is the chart plotter up here, which you can see, is an Enemy 2000 connector, but that doesn't connect to their network, so you need a cable for that. And so I had to find one of those, and then I had to get one here so to connect this into the same network. Lovely. And then up top, let's take a look really quick before I show you what else I did. So I built this little pod over here. This is for the wind instrument, and then on this side, this is now for the autopilot. It was right here. This is the old one. The new one's up here. Let's take a look at that. I know I was calibrating, and so let's pull a little tag off of it. There we go. And that is still working on it. So that is doing some calibrations at the moment. And then so basically I had to pull my charger inverter out of here. I needed to pull the unit out of here. I had to pull the old brains out of this piece, take all the wiring out that connected that to the GPS unit, which I've pulled out, and then put in the new ones. Now the motor assembly has a connector wire to it, which, interesting enough, I'm going back in through here because I had to pull the back cabin apart, and how much you can see in here, it's pretty dark, but I had to pull the panels out, and I found the cable that goes down this way. Actually, no, it's back in there, and it goes along here, and no, that is it right there. That's the cable to the drive unit, or the motor. And it turns out that that cable is exactly the same as the new one, so I really didn't have to pull all this out, but I certainly do have to put it all back together. So that is what I need to work on next once I make sure all this is working, because I did use the old cable. It looked perfectly fine, at least for the drive unit. So we're going to double check that, and then that should be that, and it should be working. I'm going to show you why that failed. And probably all these autopilots and the one that I have now will probably fail, and it's because of that wheel pilot assembly is plastic. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this wheel pilot. I pulled all the pieces off here that attach it to the wheel, and then let's take the cover off and show you what's broken. So the drive unit comes into here, and there's a screw here and a screw there that go into a plastic little sleeve. And let's see if you can see down in here. That little plastic sleeve is broken on this side and on that side. So it kind of sits here pretty well until you engage the belt, and the belt gets a little bit of pressure, and then this pops out and it starts skipping the gears. And that's why I kept hearing the gears stripping. And I'll give my sound effect. But anyways, you can see it has a hard time trying to stay in one place, and this was kind of flopping around. That needs to be pushed down quite a bit more. There we go. Now it's into that spot, and that would hold it still. So something that would tell you that that's breaking loose would be that this handle starts to move a bit more. Anyways, having this piece plastic, really, really stupid. This should not be just like plastic crapola junk, whatever. Anyways, but that's what it is. And you can see this top piece is also cracked, if you can see that right there. Can you see that? Probably. So that kind of makes it not quite so good either. So this piece was broken, and then the two pieces here were broken. And the belt's in great condition, so that's been replaced, because that's like, looks like a brand new belt in there. And it was kind of working when I bought the boat, but no, it was broken. So anyways, what I probably will do to have an extra autopilot here is I'm going to drill these out and still use the same plastic spacers, but I'll put a washer on the back side and just put a bolt in here and a bolt in there. Bolt these things there. Put this all back together and store it somewhere on the boat. So I've got an extra one at wheel pilot. I've got an extra motor. I kind of got a lot, like some extra parts now, which is good. There's no belt on here if I just want to replace the belt. So probably keep it around for extra parts. That's it for today. Hope you hit that subscribe button, at least hit a like button, and if you want to leave a comment, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Get this boat back out and do some more sailing. Woohoo! See ya.
Button, that little like button, that little subscribe button, and if you make a comment and you say, dude, you're a dork, that even works. All right, we'll see you later. Bye.